Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Monday. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. And Chugs and I got a fun show on tap for all of you out there. We're going to get into the latest going on around Jayden Daniels because, well, shit, as much as we've talked about him, anytime that there is an update around the LSU quarterback, I'm going to break it all down for you. On top of that, Max Crosby, Aiden O'Connell, Robert Spillane, Andre James all spoke to the media. I'll kind of chime in on certain things that thought were interesting. The Raiders have a top 30 visit. We'll take a deep dive into that. And then a brand new ESPN mock draft was released by Field Yates, Mel Kiper Jr. It was a 3-rounder. So I'll tell you who they ended up taking at 13, 44, and 77, give you my overall breakdown of the idea. And because Davante Adams keeps on getting asked it, is he going to get traded? He responded to it. If you didn't see what Adam said, we'll talk about all that coming up here on today's show. Now, I will admit, we only got 2 segments today on our live because there was some breaking news that happened earlier today. The Las Vegas Raiders, they signed Cody Whitehair to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with $1.4 million guaranteed with up to $3 million in total. My question to you is, since, well, we didn't go live earlier today, and I'm sure some of y'all didn't see the video that we ended up dropping, if you could, grade it. A, B, C, D, or F. A, you absolutely love it. B, it's a good move. C, it's an average move. D, it's bad. F, it's a big old F for fail. And one guy who never fails, my man, Jeremy Chugs. What's up?
Oh!
Feeling good. Today's a big day here at the Chat Sports Studios.
Huge day.
Big basketball game later on tonight.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be really good for you and I because it's going to help us get practice. And then we know then we're going to smoke Wasted.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Graph, Wasted, I'm sorry for what we're going to do to y'all. I mean, it would be, it would be an elderly crime in most states what we will do to Wasted.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Wasted and Graph. But hey,
elderly abuse.
We got B Knows the System from Raiders Rebel. When I was watching the Raiders show earlier today on YouTube, I was noticing there was a lot of, which this might surprise you, a lot of Aiden O'Connell conversation going on.
Oh, yeah?
The Raider Rebel, he was in there going back and forth with a lot of people. It was good, clean fun.
Were people more pro Aiden or anti Aiden?
I mean, it's the same. I feel like the whole Aiden O'Connell discussion is right back to where we were with Derek Carr, where Aiden is a stand-up, outstanding human being, and everybody, there's no way you're not rooting for Aiden, especially, dude, the mustache he was rocking today, elite. But it's a very, very split bag.
I mean, who's going to have a better mustache by the time training camp rolls around, him or Gardner Minshew?
Oh, man, dude, I don't know.
That's a huge stash battle. Off.
We might have to stash that question until a little bit later to really take a deep dive on it. I am seeing a lot of C's, though, from Santa Cruz. Raider Rick says, what's up, man? Legendary Jimmy Gaming says A+. Dave's going to go with a C. We got Keek says, what's up, what's up? Josh, I see. I'm seeing a lot of C's, some B- in there from Busy.
The only reason why I'll give it a B is because at the end of the day, you get a guy who has started in the NFL on
tons of games
on a minimum contract, contract 1 year, $2.5 million. So it's like the risk reward is not bad at all. Like if he sucks, you paid pennies on the dollar for a guy who's going to be a backup anyway. If he's good, then the upside is you just got a starter for $2.5 million on your offensive line.
Yeah, I think my problem with the Whitehair move is if they are trying to get him to be a starter, it does make me nervous. Now, on our show earlier today, we talked about, could Whitehair be a Greg Van Roten, where everyone's like, oh, my God, I can't believe we're going to start this guy. And you can say what you want about Greg. Van Roten had himself a hell of a season for especially what we paid him, and it was the same as that $2.5 million. It's what the Raiders gave Jermaine Illuminor last season, $2.5 million. And I'll say this. I'll give it a B grade if he's like the sixth man.
I also,
if he's going to be your starting guard, that makes me nervous.
From what our Bears guys said, because Whitehair played with the Bears last year.
Sure.
From what they said, his biggest weakness was at the center position and snapping.
Yep.
And the snap handoff with him and the quarterback, the shotgun snaps that he would do. I think getting older, it's a lot harder. And why Kelsey with the Eagles, he was so magnificent he was an older center getting it done, being able to be athletic. But if you're not a really athletic center, snapping the ball gets harder over time because you're not only snapping, you have to do two things at once. You have to snap and block whoever's in front of you at the same time. So as you get older, if you're, not an as athletic center, that gets harder over time. Where I think Whitehair you kind of saw shades of that last year with the Bears, of him having more difficulty snapping and blocking at the same time and that athletic ability. But moving him to guard, I think, could help out if he, you have him battle out whoever at left guard.
Yeah.
I think it could be better for him taking the move over to left guard and playing center only if needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, like...
And I still think, even if, there's an injury to Andre James, I think the Raiders then move Parham to center and then Whitehair to guard.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Whitehair is only going to be a guard on this team because they do have Dylan Parham. My other problem with Whitehair is, you're looking at a guy who he played over 600 snaps at left guard last season.
Yeah.
Played left guard, has coming off the worst year of his career. He's definitely getting up there in age, but this could be one of those moves where, again, as a starter, I don't really want it, but Andre James even said it today, like having a guy like Whitehair that helps you learn what Luke Getsy's trying to do, it can really help, especially for an offensive line that not only lost their offensive side of the coach, right, like basically all their offensive pieces, but also lost Carmen Brasillo, somebody that's been a really, really solid person there. Let's go to my man, 9-3 Nabman, B+, if for depth, and at OG, but a flat-out F intended for center. Yeah, I'm kind of with Nabman. It's kind of what Chugs and I just got through saying as well. If it's just a depth move, it's a good, reliable signing. If it is somebody that you're legitimately expecting to go out there and be your starting left guard, because I will admit, if the season started today, I would be persuaded to say that the starting offensive line is Colton Miller, Cody Whitehair, Andre James, Dylan Parham, Thayer Munford. I mean, if the season started today.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. Will Whitehair start this season? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Like, obviously, we're 10 days away from the NFL draft. I can't wait for the draft to see what ends up going down. But we've also seen that the Raiders have other priorities. I still am going to imagine offensive tackles high up there on that priority list. I'm still going to imagine that cornerbacks up there on that list.
What this is, I think, is a safety net move before the draft, in that the Raiders don't know if they're going to go O-line early or O-line in the middle tiers of the draft. And if they do go, I think this is kind of not showing their cards, but I think this shows that they would be willing to take a guy in the middle rounds at the offensive line position and say, hey, we're willing to bet on this guy, and if worse comes to worse, we'll start Cody Whitehair. I think that would be my thought process on what the Raiders are going to do moving forward. I think this means that they might go somewhere else other than offensive line early.
Okay.
Go with a guy maybe in the second, maybe in the third round, and say, hey, we're getting a guy on day 2. He may be able to start his rookie year. He may be good enough, but we've seen plenty of times where day 2 offensive linemen do not translate into the NFL.
And that can be part of the equation as well. I mean, the year before, Whitehair actually was not that bad with the Chicago Bears the first year that Getsy kind of took over. I mean, the PFF grades show that. The tape obviously shows that as well. But I am in agreement with you. This is one of those safety net type of moves where if we don't get maybe a player that we're potentially targeting, are you comfortable rolling out Cody Whitehair? That I would imagine that their answer to that is yes. Cody Whitehair or Jordan Meredith, which right now are probably like the top 2 backup guards that the Raiders have, based on the confidence level that Champ Kelly, that Luke Getsy have in Whitehair, I would say that Whitehair has the nod over Jordan Meredith.
Yeah, but I mean, it all comes down to the preseason. It all comes down to OTAs and training camp. What the new offensive line coach, Craig?
James Craig.
Okay, I always get mixed up with Craig and Greg.
It's all right. I always say Madison Alexander. 2 first names.
Alexander Madison.
I know. I don't know why. I say it every time.
But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, seeing those guys go one-on-one in training camp and who the offensive line coach, who the offensive staff thinks is a better fit. Because, I mean, we've seen plenty of times where that's why we make videos, surprise cut candidates, surprise guys who could be cut.
Happens every year.
Cody Whitehair could very well not even make the 53-man roster at the end of the day.
We also, though, we talked about the potential of the Raiders signing Whitehair. This is, again, I mean, you got to go back probably 2 months ago. We made a video of the top left guards most likely that the Raiders could sign this offseason. We had Whitehair number 2 on that list. There were notable, and I mean notable connections with Whitehair, with Getsy, with Champ Kelly. So am I surprised by this move? No, like, I don't mean to say like I saw it coming, but like there were definitely like roads that you could have followed to say, all right, we're here now. Whitehair ends up signing 10 days before the NFL draft. What up, Busy? Can't bang. Sorry, broke. You never have to apologize for sending in a super chat. My only thing that I'll say is if you are going to send one in, and you are, as you said, broke, give me a question then. Give me something that I can answer.
Hey, but Busy, appreciate you, dog.
The Busy King. Let's go to Robert. Extend Kuntz, save draft capital, and use $25 million to sign Simmons, Reisner, and possibly Howard to one-year deals. Well, Isaiah Simmons, I'm pretty sure, is already – he went back to the New York Giants, right?
No. He's thinking of Justin Simmons, safety.
You think?
I would think so.
Okay. I mean, Robert, you can let me know. We just don't talk about Justin Simmons a lot, so that's why I thought maybe he was kind of leaning Isaiah Simmons. I could be wrong. I know Simmons is back with the Giants. I'll say this, though. Like, the fact that the Raiders went with Cody Whitehair here, I don't think Reisner happens now.
Yeah.
Like to me, if you would have signed Reisner, like that's your starting left guard. This is an insurance move, and you could potentially see this team look at another offensive lineman that, like, I'll also still say, like, if you were to ask me, do I think Cody Whitehair or Thayer Munford would be a better left guard? I would say Thayer Munford.
You were right. Robert was thinking of Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Isaiah's with the Giants. So the $25 million.
So you should trade for Parsons.
Here we go, man. Here we go.
And you know what? Instead of spending $25 million,
I agree, though.
Simmons,
you should extend Malcolm Kuntz.
Yeah. Instead of spending $25 million to give Micah Parsons, the Raiders should just join our 50-50 raffle for $20 at Mitchell Renz 365.
Hey, if you want a chance to get in, win a little bit of
That's
dough.
a lot cheaper than $25 million.
We're gonna do this at the end of the show.
Okay.
I'll say that you're not gonna win $25 million today.
If enough people get in.
If you know what, if enough people got in, and we got a chance to do $25 million, I'd say let's do the gimbal too. Let's just throw it in there, man.
Oh, I don't know if Brett would let us do that.
I think Venmo would flag us.
Yeah.
I think Venmo would flag us down.
Yep.
But if anybody wants a chance to get in, we're going to do this one at the very end of the show. $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's go to my man, Wayne Stewart. If we move up into 3 and Washington takes Jayden Daniels, we still take Drake May, right? I like him too. See, to me, this doesn't happen. Like, the Raiders, the only way they are trading up into the top 3 is if Jayden Daniels is available. Like, you're not going to see Telesco. You're not going to see Antonio Pierce want to trade up into the top 3 because I don't think Drake May is their guy. So you're not going to risk all that draft capital and then move up before the draft. Like, to me, the only way you are investing 3 first-round picks at minimum to move up is for Jayden Daniels. Like, I don't think the Raiders would take Drake May. I know the Raiders aren't taking J.J. McCarthy in the top 3. They're not taking Bo. Like, the only guy they are moving up for is Jayden Daniels. Speaking of Jayden, are the Commanders going to draft him? There has been so many different reports, rumors, and here's the one part of this part of the season, right? Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. The only thing that we do know is Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 overall to the Chicago Bears. Like, that is the only thing we know. Schefter spoke about Jayden Daniels. There's been a lot of rumors around Jayden. I'll kind of get into what Schefter had to say. But this is the primetime year of smoke, mirrors, everything's out there. We will not actually know what happens until draft day. And anybody that says that they know, they're lying.
Well, why is nobody taking Callahan? I want my picks back.
No way. Will the Commanders draft Jayden Daniels? Type D for draft.
Nobody went to Jayden Daniels' birthday party. Undraftable. Big Luck says pass. Miguel says he's going there. Just says D. Ultra VAB says pass. Die Hard Raider Fan 365 says pass. This one's very, very split on the votes because it's so up in the air right now. Let's go to the Real Cowboy. Happy Monday. Who's your best guess for Pro Bowl this year besides 98 and 17? AJ Cole.
I mean, realistically, that's the top answer outside of Max.
And
AJ Cole that's the answer.
And Trey Tucker as a return man.
That would be, I'll tell you what, that's an interesting pick. I'm still curious to see if they go with him as being the returner there's still a lot to be left unseen. I could say Robert Spillane's probably deserves to be up there in that list. Colton Miller obviously deserves to be up there in that list. I'm going to go with the sneaky one, okay? I'm going to go with the sneaky one. Michael Mayer. Luke Getsy uses the 2 tight end system a lot. I actually think that Mayer is going to get more targets. Like, if you were to ask me who gets the most targets on the team, Davante's number 1. Jacoby, I'll still lean as being number 2. But to me, Mayer's going to get a lot more targets than what people think.
Sneaky one for me.
Christian Wilkins.
I was just about to say, sneaky one for me. Over Christian Wilkins, give me Tyree Wilson. I think he gets double-digit sacks this year.
I mean, Max spoke about him today and basically was like, you hear it all the time. A player makes that biggest leap in their second year. And
I think Christian Wilkins, you'll see him more as a guy who eats up blocks, going to be really good in the run game. I don't think because people are thinking like, oh, he's going to get 10 sacks. Last year was his most sacks in a year by far, by like 5 sacks. Sure. His first 3 seasons, he had like 2, 3, 4 sacks in his season. Last year, he had 9. I don't think he's going to replicate that. I think he's a decent, like a good pass rusher. I don't think that's his specialty. He's a better interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
I think he eats up blocks, and I think you can see Tyree Wilson go off on some guards this year and get like 10 sacks.
I hope, man. I really, really hope so.
And this isn't me saying Tyree Wilson's better than Christian Wilkins. I just think Tyree Wilson will have a jump this year because of Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby on either side of him.
If Wilson takes that step, and I mean just like if just takes that step a little bit, this defense can be really, really special. Let's go to wrong way. Get Jayden Daniels. Oh, sorry.
Yep. No, you're right.
Get Jayden Daniels and Ray Davis in the 3rd. Offense is stacked. See, I'm not really big on taking Ray Davis in round 3 out of Kentucky. I think the other part that you gotta kind of have to think about is if you get Jayden, I don't know if you have a 3rd round pick. Right? Like, if you get Jayden, I don't think you have a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round pick this year. That's just my personal opinion. Like, I usually target Ray in round 4, good running back out of Kentucky. But, like, no disrespect to this idea. Like, yes, I think Ray Davis is a good back and could be a good back in the NFL. Actually, probably one of the better fits for Antonio Pierce. But if you take Jayden and that's your quarterback, to me, your next pick, whenever that is, I think it's got to be an offensive tackle. It's got to be an offensive lineman to me. Or it's got to be a position that's going to be a bigger benefit to your offense than running back.
I think you go wide receiver, maybe. Get him another weapon.
But again, here's the real answer to this. It really depends who's the best player available.
Because that's why I said maybe wide receiver, because if you don't have a 2nd or a 3rd, 4th round comes around, I think because this wide receiver class is so loaded, you're more likely to get a starting caliber wide receiver in the 4th than any other position that the Raiders need, I think. Offensive line, I mean, probably running back, but then again, I feel like at that point you could get a running back in the 5th.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think running back's not that big of a priority for the Raiders in the draft. Like, I would argue offensive line, tackle, guard is the biggest. Wide receivers got to be up there, and then I would probably put that running back discussion.
Yeah.
Like, they could end up getting a tight end. I know they like Theo Johnson a lot from Penn State. I've heard that from multiple people, but
we are
still not a major priority. Let's go to Doug. What's up, Doug? Hobbs, Kuntz, and Spillane contracts are all done in 2024. They're going to be free agents in 2025. Let's get some of our dogs extended before the season starts. And I agree with you. Like, one of the things that I did, I made my perfect Raiders offseason plan. And one of the reasons why I decided to put Jimmy Garoppolo as a post-June 1st cut, which the Raiders did, is because you're going to get that $24.4 million, and you're going to be able to use that extra money to be able to take care of some of these extensions. Because to me, there are a lot of players that you got to consider. Nate Hobbs has got to be up there. Malcolm Kuntz got to be up there. Robert Spillane got to be up there. And if it's up to me, I'm going to try to extend those players and make sure that as long as if Crosby's got 3 years left on his deal, I'm giving these guys at least 2-year extensions. So, like, then that way they're on the books with the silver and black as long as Max Crosby's on this defense as well. I mean, you heard Robert Spillane talk today. He's got that similar mindset of a guy like Crosby, where Crosby's Crosby, right? Like, he's in a whole nother realm of wanting to be a legendary player. He spoke about it. But you still have to have the other type of guys in that locker room. Kuntz, Hobbs, Spillane. I think even a guy, Jack Jones, you can't extend him yet, but that's going to be another player once contract extensions happen. Jones is in the next season. Could be another name to throw out there. What's up, Big Luck? Chugs, we have to Max Holloway this draft.
Raiders.
What is Max Holloway in this draft? Just swinging for the fences?
We have to knock it out.
Okay. I mean, that was one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen.
Oh, one of the best UFC cards from start to finish that I've seen in a while.
It was
every fight was a bit. Dude, the next fight, that chick got
the
choked out twice.
Dude, that woman fight was just. I always say what
that woman.
what, the girl fight? That sounds weird.
Yeah.
It was a female fight. What's the right way to say it?
I don't know. It just sounded funny.
I mean, they were.
Dude,
there's a lot of times the women fighting is more entertaining than dudes. They're just going balls to the
thought
wall.
for the first time in UFC history, somebody was going to be choked out unconscious and still win the fight.
Yeah.
Because she was out at the end of round one.
They were warriors. If that fight's an extra second longer, she loses. In the first, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Dude, the Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje fight, that one was incredible.
Well, I thought it was funny. I actually didn't know this. Max was joking that Gaethje is a Raider fan and that he's hooked him up with tickets before, and he was asked about the Holloway knockout, and Max was like, I felt like you could kind of tell he was like, that's my guy, but you got to give your kudos to Holloway, which in that final 10 seconds, he was literally just like, let's go. Let's just start throwing hands.
And I do have to say, for somebody, this is where it's I could never be a fighter, obviously. If I broke my nose doing
Unless
anything.
It was Jello wrestling.
Oh, dude. If I broke my nose doing anything, I'm done doing that. I'm going to the I'm not continuing on.
Dude, that heel kick broke his nose.
Tonight, if I broke my nose, I'm not playing the rest of the game. I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm not going to be I can play through it.
Sure. I'll admit, if millions are on the line, maybe a little bit more motivation. Maybe.
Dude, but
I get it.
It was like the scene from The Longest Yard where he's like, I broke in my nose.
It was in half.
Dude.
It was unbelievable.
And the fact that he just kept on taking it on the chin, just boom, boom, boom.
Getting hit in the nose, I don't care who you are, it is one of the most painful things. Imagine getting hit with
a spinning heel straight to the nose
on a broken nose.
That's
what broke it. I'm
yeah.
saying that he's out there fighting for how many more rounds?
He's getting punched in the
face. Punching him in the nose. We did get one more super from Wayne. I want to get into that one, and then we'll get into the latest going on today.
Instigator. I think I made him shit himself.
That's a good line there, Instigator. What's up, man? What's up, Wayne? Then we should take Arnold and Penix and talk to the Cowboys after the draft. And why is nobody talking about hoping or hopping that the Chiefs don't get their hands on Worthy? What affects them affects us, Mitch, remember.
Oh, well, why is nobody talking about hoping that the Chiefs don't get... Well,
I feel like we have said that multiple times. I'll be real with you, though. I'm more worried about the Chiefs getting a Lad McConkey. Like a receiver that actually thinks better than Xavier Worthy.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, there are so many wide receivers. There's no, they're going to get their receivers. There's going to be options for them. So it's
I get it. Worthy's fast.
Yeah.
But to me, I would be more concerned if you gave Patrick Mahomes a legit receiver, not just a speed.
Worthy has drop issues, though.
There's a part of me that thinks Worthy's going to turn out his career like an MVS, where he is an unbelievable athlete. Unbelievable athlete. But is he a good enough receiver to get it done?
I think the other...
if you put a solid route runner on Kansas City, that would worry me
I think the other wide receiver from Texas might be better than him. A.D. Mitchell, he was nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You just never know with Kansas City. I'm pretty sure you could put almost anybody there, and they're going to have some success. You're talking about Arnold and Penix. To me, Terrian, if you're going to take him, it's got to be at pick 13. I don't know where Michael Penix Jr. is going to fall. There are some people that think that he is going to go early on. There's also some people that think that he could be the QB that slides, and this is what I love about the NFL draft. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. Malik Willis fell to round 3.
During the draft.
Will Levis fell out of round 1.
During the draft, if we're in the 20s, he's on the board, and you see Raiders trade the pick or Raiders trade up.
I'd be more. if that happened, I would actually be more worried that they trade up for Bo. I'm not kidding you. I am scared to death of the Raiders drafting Bo Nix. Because I want to believe in this regime so much. Just from last season, the last 2 years with McDipshit and Ziegler, I want to believe in this regime so much. And I do believe in so far a lot of the moves that Telesco has made. I do believe in Antonio Pierce. Like, I am really liking this team that the Raiders have put together. I mean, you're going to have one of the best defense in the league. I still want them to upgrade at the QB position. I
have my best friend. His name is Cheddar Bob, who shot himself.
What was that?
From 8 Mile.
Oh, I saw a video on Twitter this weekend of, like, apparently this white rapper, and he, like, actually, like, shot, like, a gun, like, on the ground. I've never seen the guy before.
Yeah.
But I thought that's what you were referencing. All right, y'all. Coming up here live on the show, Chugs and I, we got to get out of here by 5 o'clock today. For those that don't know, our first basketball game, Chat Sports basketball game.
Huge night tonight. For the program.
Yeah, we got a big game tonight, so we gotta get out of here by 5. We gotta get ready.
I'm our star player. I'm the best guy in the office, so I really have to get ready for tonight's game. I can't be late.
Yep. I will say it is at a Jewish basketball. What is it? It's a Jewish YMCA essentially.
It's the JCC.
The JCC. So the only way we're getting in is if Chugs is done with this show by 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
So I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. Coming up live on today's Navman Bang! Navman, if I hit a 3 tonight, I'm screaming your name. There are no quarterbacks in this draft that are a lock as a professional player. Each one of them in meaningful games have struggled in college, folks. College! Offensive line needs to be the 13th pick, no question. My mocks have shown me Joe Alt may be available.
Somebody said, we have a couple of people asking, are we streaming tonight's game?
No.
However, how big of a super chat for you to Instagram Live and just like set up your camera or your phone for like the whole game?
Oh man, I don't know if I'd have the battery life for it.
Just start charging it.
Yeah, I'll have to bring my charger. I'll say this. I want to see how the first game goes. Well, I want to see how the game goes. I want to see like what the atmosphere is like, and then if it goes well, and I'm like, all right, like this is cool, then we'll go. Then we can start showing some clips. Though there's a part of me where maybe I will put it on for Chugs. I'm just gonna follow you
on the court.
I'm walking baseline the whole time. I'm walking baseline.
How much to go on live?
Dude, I don't want to be held. I want to enjoy the first game. How about that?
Yeah.
I want to enjoy the first game. I want to see how it goes.
Well, that's why Alex is there.
I don't think she's going. I don't think she's going to go. Though next week, maybe. Maybe next week. To your point, though, Nav, man, you are right that you just never know who is going to be good professional players. I actually don't think that Joe Alt has any chance in hell to be there at 13. To me, he's the best offensive lineman in this year's class, and he's going to go top 10. And I don't think I would be shocked if that goes anywhere else. And you're right, like every quarterback has struggled, but at the same time, though, I am very confident in Jayden. I am very confident in Caleb. I am very confident in Drake May. I'll admit, at the quarterback position, it really matters on fit. Like, I think whoever ends up going to the Commanders, not going to have success. I think whoever ends up going to the New England Patriots, not going to have success. But that's just based on those teams. I do think if the Raiders were to get Jayden, he's going to be successful. I do think if the Raiders were to get Drake May, he's going to be successful. I don't believe in Bo Nix, but I also don't believe in Rich Scangarillo or Luke Getsy as it stands right now. So
yeah,
I get the idea of wanting to go offensive line.
I do not think Joe Alt will be there at 13.
I'm with you.
I don't think there's any possible way that Joe Alt falls all the way to 13 unless maybe he gets one of those Laramie Tunsil videos out. And even still, I think he still goes at top 10.
Yeah, I feel like recently, and this is kind of what drives me nuts about the draft, we kind of get into that lull period, which we are in right now. Let's be real. And all of a sudden, people who were like, oh, Joe Alt is going to go here, or there's just always certain players, nobody's played in 4 or 5 months. And I just won't understand how somebody after combine, pro, like all that stuff's cool and all, but the tape is the tape. Joe Alt to me is the most ready, you use the word professional, the most professionally ready offensive tackle in this year's draft. He might not have the highest upside that a guy like Olu Fashanu has, or an Amarius Mims, or even a guy like Talisi Fuaga. But if you ask me right now, who am I betting on to be the most day one ready offensive tackle? His name's Joe Alt. That's what I'm thinking. What up, Sandeep? Nabman, shout out to you, Raiders Rebel. Let's get into today's show. We got 730 people here in the building. If you haven't already, click that like button. Helps us out a lot. Coming up, we're going to get into all the Raiders news that you need to know from today. And then there is a lot of juicy stuff continuously going on around Jayden Daniels. And
super juicy.
I've been like hey, let's hold out hope for him.
You've been on a real juice kick lately.
A lot of juice. It's all the juice and content.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section. Favorite type of juice right now? Let us know. Is it orange, apple? What's your favorite kind of juice?
I think it depends. If you had to tell me I can only drink one juice for the rest of my life.
I was on an island a couple days ago. I said I love grape juice. And
it's okay. Like, if you ask me if I can only drink one juice for the rest of my life, it's orange juice, and it's not close.
Cran grape goes hard.
But who's drinking cran grape?
I like cran grape.
I don't know, dude.
Orange juice is good. I would be lying if I said I didn't love orange juice. Like freshly squeezed orange juice, great. Mango juice, good.
Guava, like there's certain pineapple
grape juice, really good.
Yeah, it's OJ's the right answer.
Pineapple juice. Your lady will thank you.
She sends her regards.
She sends her regards.
Also, I got to get some people in here for this duck race. I realize that I'm slacking on shouting out some names. We got Justin Gilbert in.
I feel like ever since I got older,
Ultra VAB's in.
Fruit Punch doesn't do it for me.
I actually think if I see Fruit Punch anything, it's probably my last choice.
All I think of whenever I see Fruit Punch is sugar. Okay, and Devin, we had this debate in the office the other day. Lemonade. Is lemonade a juice?
It's actually a good question. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Petey said no.
I mean, what's the difference between lemonade and orange juice? I've never seen Petey stand up this quick.
Wait.
All right. Also, Gilbert, VAB's in twice. Snapman and Frank, $20 Venmo, chance to win $50.
Orange juice is squeezing oranges.
Yep.
End product.
Okay.
Do you make lemonade the same way?
I'll be real. I don't know if I've ever made lemonade.
Okay. So I'll tell you right now, that's not how you make lemonade.
Okay.
There's a sugar element and a water element. So two external ingredients.
Fair.
Orange juice has water and sugar.
No. Not added.
Is grape juice then 100% grape? Just blended up grapes?
I don't know.
I don't
like grape
either.
Juice. But I'll tell you right now, that's why lemonade is not a juice. It's an aid because you aid it with water and sugar.
I heard they had a real big lemonade problem in the 90s. Only drinking sweet lemons?
Yeah, I hear you. But what if you added a lot of sugar to it? Then is that the same thing? I don't know.
Is Rent about lemonade?
Yeah, I don't know. This kind of makes me. This is back to the pigeons piss. I don't know. I really don't know.
Cherry limeade? That's a good.
Is lemonade a juice? Give me a Y for yes and for no. The hard-hitting questions. Why you subscribe to the Raiders Report. And if you're like, you know what? I'll also take the news and rumors. Luckily for you, that's coming up right now here on today's show. Raider Nation, what's going on? I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, let's get into the latest going on around Jayden Daniels because I have continuously held out hope that this guy is going to be in silver and black, though based on something that Adam Schefter said, my hope is slowly dwindling down. Then, all the Raiders news that you need to know around the silver and black that happened today. If you don't know, let's get in here to the latest around the LSU quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, Jayden Daniels. He's meeting with the Washington Commanders today, and he has a private dinner, I believe, with them tomorrow. what's interesting about this, and we've talked about in great lengths, Jayden, obviously, his connection with the Antonio Pierce, this organization, but at the end of the day, if he's not on the board, you're never going to have an opportunity to draft him. Adam Schefter, he was on a podcast over the weekend and literally told the people on the podcast, Commanders fans can get Jayden Daniels jerseys. Now, I will admit that I always say on this show that if you hear a guy like Schefter say something, a guy like Rapp say something, they have so many connections out there that their word weighs a lot more weight in the NFL industry than a lot of other people out there. Not many people are going to disagree with that. I will also say, though, that if anybody flat out says that they have an idea or they know what's going to happen, they're lying. This is primetime smoke and mirrors type of season. Schefter's been wrong before, Rapp's been wrong before, and I'm hoping that Shefty's wrong again. My question of the nation, though, is type D for draft, type P for pass. Will the Washington Commanders draft Jayden Daniels? And the team that just, there's a lot of smoke right now around the Commanders, around Washington. Colin Cowherd said that that's where he's going to go. However, there's so many other stories that indicate maybe that's not where Jayden wants to go. Give me a D. Pause. Give me a P for pass. Will the Commanders draft Jayden? I would say right now, there is a 33% chance that Jayden Daniels is drafted by the Washington Commanders. There is a much better chance that this guy right here ends up being a Commander than a Raider, solely based on where he ends up going down. But we know that Caleb Williams is going to be number one off the board. No doubt about it, number one off the board. So now the Commanders at their pick 2 targets, these are the only 3 players that they're going to choose from. They're not going to take Michael Penix Jr. I actually think that that's been pretty well documented that team's not really on him. J.J. McCarthy, Pelissero has linked him. Drake May has been linked to the Commanders. Jayden Daniels obviously has been linked to the Washington Commanders on top of that. But if you are this team and you don't know exactly where you want to go, if you don't know the background story of why, I do still think that there's a chance that he doesn't go there. Per Evan Silva, last week, Daniels' meetings with the Commanders did not go as smoothly. Daniels also, out of a formal combine meeting and his parties, met privately after his pro day. I will admit, didn't say which meetings went bad, but that's one story. Then we heard the whole Eric Bickel from Sports Junkies co-host, and basically that his son told him that if the Commanders end up drafting Jayden, that maybe that's not the way to do it, because back in 2022, when Brandon Ayuk introduced Adam Peters, now GM of the Commanders, that Jayden flat out, tell your dad Jayden Daniels hates Adam Peters. More and more stuff continues to come out, so when you hear all these different stories, I will admit, it's hard to tell what is truth, what is fact, right? It's tough, and I see Just says picking Evan Silva over Schefter. I'm not picking anybody over anyone. I'm just giving you all the details of what needs to happen here, because Jayden has not disputed the rumors that he doesn't want him to go to the Commanders. He has disputed that he doesn't, people said, oh, he doesn't want to go to the Patriots. He's disputed that. He's close friends with Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk connected Jayden Daniels and Peters back in 2022 or in early 2023 when he was talking about declaring for the draft. And Adam Peters apparently told Jayden Daniels that you don't have the talent to be picked before round 5 and your talent doesn't translate to the NFL. All I am saying is when you look at all of these stories from top to bottom, from Schefter, from Silva, from Eric Bickel, people who are very well connected in the NFL around Washington, there are still so many things that are unknown. My job here as a host is I'm going to do my best to keep you guys up to date on all things going on around Jayden Daniels, because bottom line is this. If you ask me in a perfect world who's the quarterback of the Raiders this year, I say Jayden Daniels, because I believe in Antonio Pierce. I believe in this regime, and until draft day happens, which is mind-blowing to say that it's 10 days away, anytime that there is news around this guy, I'm going to keep you up to date here on the show. And if you want updates around Jayden Daniels, hit that subscribe button. Coming up next here on the show, we got more Raiders news and rumors to know, because a lot of stuff kind of happened today. The Raiders signed somebody. We got some news on a top 30 visit. 4 players talked to the media, which was a really cool thing to hear. And if you're wondering what's the latest going on around this team, I got all this for you. But before I get into it, shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks, $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. And I know for a lot of people out there, football season's not going on. Basketball season for March Madness just ended. Women's college basketball just ended, though. The women's WNBA draft is live on Chat Sports Night if you want to go check that out. But, the reason why I'm excited for PrizePicks, and one of the new features that I have just recently started to take a dabble in, a little bit more of a deep dive, we know that what PrizePicks has to offer during the regular season. I'm a football guy, though. This is where I'm going to test my own mentals and really try to figure out some picks for season long. These are my picks. I took Bryce Young more than 18.5 passing touchdowns. Upgraded offensive line. I anticipate that team's going to be better. I like that pick. C.J. Stroud. The only way C.J. Stroud's not throwing for more than 26.5 touchdowns with that offense is if he gets hurt. And if he gets hurt, well, then guess what? I'm still good. And then Chris Jones at 11.75 sacks. I took the less on that because when you look at his career, yes, he had 15 sacks last season, but it kind of goes back to what Chugs always says with Christian Wilkins. Defensive tackles don't rack up that many sacks often, and Chris Jones, 80% of the time in his career, has been less than 11.75 sacks. So if you watch today's show and you're like, Mitch, I want to get in on that action, you can do so. The link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. PrizePicks is simple. All you got to do, get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match of $100. Prizepicks.com/CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. There is a reason why PrizePicks is the #1 fantasy sports app out there. PrizePicks, love them. Check them out. Link in the comments and in the description. All right, let's get in here to the latest going on around the silver and black, and I will do my best here to just walk you through everything that happened today. One of the things that I saw pop up on my timeline, shout out to Scout, or better known as Tristan on Twitter, said that the Raiders have scheduled an official top 30 visit with Matt Gonclaves, Pittsburgh offensive tackle. He's got a career 1,500 snaps, only 165 in 2023 before a season-ending injury. As you can see, though, some versatility, and that seems to be the key word here for this Raiders offensive line. Versatility, 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 and at 6'6", 330 pounds, somebody that you're probably going to be looking for in the later rounds, 6 and 7. At that point in the draft, I want somebody that does give me versatility. I do want a player that my coaching staff believes in. So this is just another name that the Raiders are adding to their top 30 visits. And when you look at a lot of the top 30 visits for the silver and black squad, it's a lot of late round picks, which makes me wonder if the Raiders already kind of know what they're going to do early on, and now they're just looking for some of these later round guys that build out the roster a little bit. If you didn't see my video that I dropped earlier on the Raiders Report, the silver and black, they signed Cody Whitehair to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. He can make up to $3 million in total. It's also $1.4 million guaranteed. He's got those ties to Champ Kelly. He's got the ties to Luke Getsy. I will admit that I do think that he's probably better as a backup left guard and can be a cheap option, which is, I don't want to say, funny's not the right word, but it does make me think of the Raiders paid Greg Van Roten last season. Nobody thought he was going to be all that good. Turned out pretty good. You ended up paying Jermaine Illuminor $2.5 million. To me, if the season started today, Whitehair probably would be your starting left guard. They'd kick Dylan Parham over to the right guard spot. But, I would rather have Whitehair and Jordan Meredith battle it out for that 6-7 spot overall. This, is a good move. You heard Andre James talk about Whitehair a little bit today. Basically just saying, it's good to have a veteran presence with a new offensive line coach and a brand new offensive scheme. So to have somebody that's got that relativeness with Getsy, was a starting left guard, also gave you some center reps as well for the Bears the last 2 seasons. I did think that it's a good depth move, but I really am hoping that this is not the Raiders' answer at left guard. More news around the silver and black. I know that people are going to continuously throw out the idea of Davante Adams getting traded. He's a big-name player. The Raiders obviously want to move up for a quarterback, but Davante over the weekend yet again said, I am not going to get traded, and essentially was like, if I wanted to get dealt, I would have already been out of here. If you didn't see what Davante had to say, don't worry, I got you covered. I want to be a Raider. Say it with me again. I want to be a Raider. Hopefully, that answers everyone's questions. I picked to come here. This is where I want to be. Obviously, if you're not winning and things aren't going the way you want, you either want to see things change to head in the right direction or something else has to change, but I don't want to go anywhere. And money talks a lot, and with Davante having 3 years left on his contract, they restructured it. this team can get out of his deal next offseason because Davante is going to be on the books for the next 2 seasons, not this year, but the next 2, $44.1 million. Paying a receiver at 32 years old, $44.1 million, it is a lot of money. But, I do believe Davante, and I do believe the Raiders. Telesco said, not going to get traded. AP has said, not going to get traded. Davante is telling you he doesn't want to get dealt. Davante Adams is not going anywhere, and can we all just put that rumor to bed? If you didn't see the players that talked today to the media, I will encourage you to go check it out. A lot of good stuff, I thought, from Andre James. Nothing but smiles. Spoke very highly of a guy like Cody Whitehair. Aiden O'Connell, the mustache was looking elite. I will admit, I saw the group chats on live on YouTube, and very, very split on AOC. I think everybody is rooting for Aiden O'Connell to be that guy. Going to be a fun competitor. I saw some people saying that they thought he looked like he bulked up a little bit. I didn't really see that. Notes on Max Crosby. That guy's an absolute freak. That guy's a legend. Robert Spillane, you love the mindset that he's bringing. Legitimately, though, the thing that I thought was the most interesting out of the entire press conference, Max Crosby said that there are 2 players. He named 2 players in the draft that he thought had that dog mentality. And because Max is one of the dudes that is just so well respected in that locker room, in this organization, Max said, he's I'm literally friends with Mark Davis all the way down to the janitor. For Max to give a shout out to Brandon Fisk, defensive tackle from Florida State, and edge rusher Latu. I know that nobody thinks that the Raiders are going to go edge or certain positions maybe early on. Latu, though, has been working out with Crosby this offseason, has said that he models his game after Max, and for Max to give those 2 guys a shout-out, all I'm saying is don't sleep on the idea. I don't think it's likely, but I do think it's worth noting that those were the only 2 players that Max gave a shout-out today when the Raiders went live on YouTube. If you want to go check out what they said, please go do so. I highly, highly encourage it. How many points will Jeremy Chugg score tonight in our basketball game? If you had to guess. First off, I don't even know how long the game is.
2 20-minute halves.
It's 2 20-minute halves. 40 minutes in total. How many minutes do you think you're getting tonight?
Probably 20
minutes?
25.
I was going to say, if I get a good 10 to 15 minutes in today, I'll be okay with that. I just want to see, like I said, I kind of want to see how it goes.
I'd probably say...
you get 20 minutes. How many points you scoring?
Probably 14.
14? That's all right. I hope, man. That's a lot of buckets.
Just because I'm a big guy of cleanup points, getting some offensive boards and some easy lays. I'll be the guy who kind of is on the baseline, kind of sneaking around, get a couple easy boards, some easy lay-ins.
Okay.
I think I'll get at least 6 points on some easy, just putbacks, and then I'm hoping maybe to get some run tonight. Fast break points.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think I could do it.
See, I'll tell you this. You know how I am with football. When I watch football, I want guys to hustle. I'm not hustling. I'm just telling you that right now.
I'm a big hustle guy.
How old are you now? 27? 28? 26?
27.
27? I will admit, it's a big difference, man. It's now
27 to 33?
I'm not 33 yet.
Oh.
31. I was talking to some of the younger guys. They're ready to run today, and it's amazing how much difference that is. I'm not going to be hustling. I'm going to be the guy in the corner shooting Gerards.
I might be 5'10", but I'm getting boards.
Yeah?
I'm
clearing space. I've heard a lot of good things.
I'm a big box out guy. If guys don't like getting boxed out, they probably really hate me. I don't care if you're 6'1". Sperry was right. If he was guarding me, I would clear him out of the paint every single time. Because I just have a good center of gravity to where I'm really good at boxing people out.
No, I mean, Sperry is what, 6'7", 6'6", 150 pounds. What'd you say?
Dan's an asshole.
Oh. That's kind of funny though.
At break points.
To me, I think your stat line tonight is going to be 8 points. I could see 8 boards and 5 fouls. That's what I'm thinking your stat sheet's looking like.
Also, maybe an underrated skill, really good at taking charges.
You are?
Oh yeah. I will guarantee you that I will get a charge call tonight.
Dude, I love it I love the mindset, but taking a charge and pick up basketball.
I'm doing it.
Ugh.
No, I mean pickup is. I don't do it like at LA Fitness or something.
Oh, okay.
Like,
but in this league,
like where there's refs,
okay.
I'll take charges.
Like, you remember who was the dude from Oakland who only shot 3-pointers? That's going to be me tonight. Not like Oakland, like the college. They had the kid that was shooting threes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He only shot it was like a handful of 2-pointers the entire season. If I take 10 shots tonight, 9 of them are going to be from deep. Like, 9 of them are from deep. Though, I don't know if I get that many shots up. Because if I miss my first 2 or 3, I probably won't shoot. I'll probably just be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to come out. All right, let me switch up my jersey here real quick. Appreciate all y'all tuning into the show. Shout out to Nabman for banging today.
Do have a couple super chats as well.
Let's go through them. Let me just switch this jersey up real quick.
I got you. First one coming in from Wayne. All due respect to Navman, we need to round out our defense with a cornerback. So Navman was saying which I still agree with. I mean, if somehow Joe Alt falls to 13, you're not going corner. You go Joe Alt. You go Joe Alt if he is there at 13. I don't care if corner's your biggest need. You get the guy who you think could be a generational left tackle. You move Colton Miller to right tackle, Munford to left guard, Parham to right guard, and you have an amazing offensive line.
I'm with you, and I know that
I don't think he'll be there.
Loves Notre Dame players, and there's no way Alt's going to be there at 13. Like, there's no way to me in my mind, but with 10 days left to go in the draft, I will admit if they don't trade up for QB, you got to be looking at offensive tackle or corner, and that's just kind of where you got to go.
I'm just catching strays in the comment section.
What now?
Raider MD said white chugs can't jump.
I was gonna say I think people don't think that we're good at basketball because of what Graff and Wasted say, and I think here's the other thing: if we do videotape the games, Graff and Wasted are gonna get a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah,
they get an advantage. They're gonna know, but I'm kind of with Wayne here. To me, you can't just go into the draft and be like, you have to get this player. I think for the Raiders, based on the needs that they have, like. Finding a cornerback 1 to me right now might be a bigger need than you trying to find a right tackle. Now, I am nervous in Thayer Munford. I really, really am. But if you told me Thayer Munford at right tackle or Brandon Faison as your other starting corner or Ja'Cory Bennett, like I have more confidence in Thayer to be able to play tackle than if you were to put Brandon Faison or Ja'Cory Bennett as your starting cornerbacks right now. Let's go to Mr. Casual Spaz. I hit the strip this week for vacay, walked into Allegiant for the first time, and got McCrosby jersey. Salute to the nation, and Raiders! Yeah, I'll tell you what, that stadium, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful stadium. Nabman, wife's car prepped for paint and ready for me to point. To paint, but she's a Panther fan, therefore Raiders! So what, Nabman, you're getting ready to paint your wife's car, but she's a Panther fan.
The first part of that sentence was like that line in the T-Pain song where he's like, she made us drinks, we drank them, I'm drunk.
Yeah, I know, okay. See, what you could do is you could say, you started off with black, and then you could say, like, oh, I thought we were going to go blue, and it was accidentally silver. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, though, honestly, probably outside of the Raiders, I'd say actually my next favorite colors are the Saints, and Panthers are up there, too. Like, their black jerseys.
You just like black and other color?
I mean, yeah. I mean, black jerseys are sick. I don't care what anyone says.
Right, and then next one would be the Falcons. And then...
See, I don't like red. Not a red guy.
No?
Not a red guy. Red's probably my least favorite color, in all honesty. What's up, Mo? Let's go to this one, and then we'll get into our next segment here around the ESPN mock draft. Also, friendly reminder, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 for a chance to get in and win some money. As it stands right now, $20 Venmo, you would win $50. Mo, if Daniels is off the board at 2, Do you think the Raiders trade up to get Drake May? No. I've seen a few mock drafts where they have him falling. The only quarterback that the Raiders are going to trade up for, his name is Jayden Daniels. Like, I think even if Drake May were to fall.
I don't agree with that.
What?
They could trade up for Michael Penix at the end of the first.
Okay, I'm talking like into the top.
You didn't say that.
All right, fair. Fair. If the Raiders trade up from 13, the only guy is Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we're on the same page then. Yeah, unfortunately, Mo, no. It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. Okay, y'all, let's get into this next one. So you're confident in that. What was yours? You said 14?
14.
I'm going to go with 8.
8?
Yep, I'm going to go with 8 points. I don't think.
Oh, okay. This is a better question for you. Overall as a team, over under 50 points tonight.
In 40 minutes? The hard question about this is I don't know who we're playing. Right? Like, the last basketball league that I was in, we got worked. And I mean, dudes were dunking. If the team we show up against tonight, they got guys dunking, it's not going to be 50. I'll tell you that.
Seeps, over under 50 points tonight.
In 40 minutes of basketball, 50 points on a clock that just runs.
Over under 50 points for us tonight. Yes.
Dude, 50 points on a running clock in 40 minutes? Dude, I don't think so, man. No way. 50 points? Somebody's got to get hot. Honestly, I'm like kind of hoping it's just a bunch of like 40 and 50-year-olds that just like want to get a good sweat in.
And we just demolish them.
Well, I don't know about that, but
like
we're gonna have to.
We have a couple guys in the office who are very confident in their abilities.
Correct.
That they think that they are going to absolutely.
I think there's a better chance that people get humbled than do the humbling. That's what I think's gonna happen.
Who's the most upset if we lose tonight?
Rolly. There's a chance Rolly might put in his 2 weeks if
he might get fired.
Dude, I'm telling you what. Rolly would be in shambles, man. No doubt. Chugs is Jackie Moon from The Real Cowboy.
Give it to me. No, I don't want it. Give it back. Let me set it up. I don't want it.
I was gonna say, I don't know who I would be in that movie.
Who's your player comp NBA?
Me?
Yeah, NBA player comp.
He doesn't play anymore, but it would be J.J. Redick. I'm literally only going to shoot from deep. There's not going to be anything else that happens. Unless they're just like giving me the walking up and I can shoot. I'm really good near the foul line. That's my shot. Or a 3-point.
Okay.
I'm not going to create my own shot, though.
So J.J. Redick pro comp?
Let's go with that.
Okay.
I used to root for Duke when I was a kid because of J.J. Redick. Though the worst thing about Redick were his sleeves. I don't know if you remember. He just like had these like awkward like cut off sleeves in this jersey. Are you wearing a T-shirt underneath your jersey tonight? Or are you going long sleeves? Or no sleeves?
No. I go shorts, like short sleeve compression shirt.
Dude, actually, that reminds me. I don't know if I have a shirt that I can wear underneath my jersey.
What do you mean?
I'm literally like packed up. Like we're packed up, ready to move. My worry is if I start running. You ever have like you get like that chafing on the nips, bro? I'm worried now. I didn't even think about that.
Mitch just running down.
I'm just running like this.
Sub.
It might happen. Muerte sending in the good vibes. Coming up here on the show, ESPN did a 3-round mock draft. James Guevara, you in twice. They did a 3-round mock draft. I'll tell you what they did, my overall grades. I will say Chugs, big fan of it.
I liked it.
He was a big fan of this one.
I liked it for the Raiders. I thought, I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you after this segment why I like it.
Cool. Sounds good. Y'all ready to get into this one? Hopefully your answer is yes, because ready or not, let's go. Raider Nation, I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, ESPN released a new 3-round mock draft. And today we're going to be reacting to all of the picks. The reason why that I wanted to do this one is because we a lot of times just focus on round one, and we also just focus on one person. So what I like that ESPN did was they had Mel Kiper Jr. and Field Yates predict every single pick for days 1 and 2. For the Raiders, that's pick 13, 44, and 77. So Kiper, he ended up getting pick 13 and 77. Yates got pick 44. For those of you that do not know, the NFL Draft is April 25th, and Jeremy Chuggs and I are going to be live for it. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you got those notifications turned on. Before I tell you who the Raiders took at 13, let's walk through this mock draft here real quick. The only big notable move was the Minnesota Vikings trading up to pick 5 to select quarterback J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. From pick 7 all the way down to 12, I did think it was interesting that many offensive linemen ended up going like right before the silver and black. Brock Bowers goes off the board. So like if the Raiders wanted to, they could have taken a QB in Michael Penix Jr. and a Bo Nix. They obviously did not, but it is something that I will throw out there. So make sure that you never miss anything around the Raiders because, guys, we are less than 10 days from the NFL Draft. Less than 10 days. Subscribe for Raiders draft coverage, live all 7 rounds. We just had a meeting today at Chat Sports talking about all the things that we got going on. If you have never, and I mean never watched what we do for the draft, it's the biggest event of the year here at Chat Sports, and I promise you're going to love it. Here we go, ESPN mock draft. Mel Kiper Jr. selected Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo, to the silver and black. The 6-footer, 196-pound corner. This guy is everything that you're looking for in a true shutdown cornerback one. There's some people that think that he's the best corner in this year's draft. He might be. To me, if you pick between him or Terry and Arnold, that's where this pick needs to end up going. The reason why Kiper ended up going with Mitchell, thought this reasoning was kind of funny. He thought that the Bowers pick threw me off a bit. Field, and I have to leap up at the chance to get my top-ranked cornerback, Mitchell, has been off the charts during the pre-draft process, crushing the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Some of the notes that I have on Quinyon Mitchell is to me that he's built like a running back, tackles like a safety, can play corner. He was the best player at the Senior Bowl by far. He's got that outstanding burst, and if Antonio Pierce is legit, when he says, I want a cornerback one, you can put Mitchell on an island. He's your best corner right now. Like, if you draft Quinyon Mitchell, he's better than Nate Hobbs. You draft Quinyon Mitchell, he's better than Jack Jones. And, like, I'm not saying that as a knock on Hobbs. I'm not saying that as a knock on Jack. Like, that is just the God-honest truth, in my opinion here, where Mitchell would be your best corner on your roster. And if you have that ability to go Hobbs, Jack Jones, Quinyon Mitchell, Trevon Merrick, on top of that with Marcus Epps, and then that defensive line, this is the best defense in the NFL. And if you believe that defense wins championships, then Quinyon Mitchell at 13 here is a hell of a pick. So here's the one thing that I'm going to do on today's show. With all 3 of the picks that end up coming in, I'm going to ask you to grade each and every one. That way, when I go back and look in the comments, I understand what pick you're talking about. It would really help me out if you did like Mitchell and then put the grade. Because if you only put A, B, C, D, or F, I'm not going to know which pick you're talking about. So if you want to say pick 13, then grade. Mitchell, then the grade. I need to know what grade you're going to give it. For me personally, the grade that I'm going to give Quinyon Mitchell here is, I'm going to give this one an A grade. He's one of the top corners in this year's draft. Him and Terry and Arnold, to me, you could have that conversation back and forth. It fills a major need. And the way that this draft also kind of went is why I am very excited about this draft here for the silver and black. Coming up, who the Raiders drafted at pick 44. And this was a move that really was a player that we haven't talked too much about because he usually goes in round 1. At least some of the mocks that I've seen. He ends up going here to pick 44. I'll tell you who that is, but I got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Mando. And Mando, I love this deodorant because to me, if I can use deodorant, and who sweats on their back? I do. I put this on my back sometimes. Their feet. My feet sweat all the time. They're pretty rank, and I'm kind of worried about the Chat Sports guys at our basketball game. They're going to be like, dude, your feet are nasty. But if anybody out there is like me, and I sweat, and you know what? I'm proud to say that I sweat a lot, but Mando has really stepped up the game. So what I want Raider Nation to do is control body odor anywhere with Mando and get $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% off with promo code CHAT at shopmando.com. I love Mando because it's a whole body deodorant. Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. I'm going to be honest, I've put it literally everywhere. Pits, your package, your balls, your grundle, belly button, butt crack, stinky crevices, stomach folds, feet, wherever. Like, I've had smelly feet my entire life, from baseball, from playing sports, and it's probably the one thing that drives my fiance, Alex, the most insane. I've been doing feet baths. When Alex and I go get mani-pedis, the people look at my feet, and they look at it like I got trolls coming out. I mean, I got wicked feet. Mando, though, they help control that odor, and they give me, honestly, a little bit more confidence because I'm a pretty confident dude, but if there has ever been a time in my life where I haven't been confident, it's like you take your shoes off, and the thing that pops into my mind is if I'm on a flight, I am the guy that takes my shoes off, but I am always self-conscious that my feet stink. With Mando, luckily, I don't got to worry about that. So I got a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. If you don't know how to spell it, it's SHOPMANDO.com. It's time to smell better naked. Your partner is going to thank you. And on top of that, like, it is really, really solid deodorant. Like I said, I got the invisible cream one right here. The other one that I use every single day, and Chugs, he tried to give my deodorant away to our boss earlier today. I was like, no, like, I use that one. I would show you this one because this is the one that I personally have and the one that I use every day, but it's green, so it doesn't really fit on our green screen. Bottom line is, I've tried a bunch of these different deodorants. They smell great. You can use them all over your body, and if you put deodorant underneath your arms and you sweat on other places too, that's what makes Mando great. So again, that link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Shout out to Mando for sponsoring today's program. Let's go to round 2, pick 44 here in our ESPN mock draft by Mel Kiper, Field Yates. With this pick, Yates ends up going on the interior. And I thought this was an interesting pick because we know that Telesco, we know that AP, they want to be able to build on the interior, whether that be in the trenches on defense, which they've already addressed a lot of those needs, but then also on the offensive side of the football, which you decided to go corner here. And if you're going to go corner at pick 13, I should also mention that Penix went off the board, I want to say, at 33, and Bo Nix went off the board at 38, so quarterback's really not really available. So this pick right here, Jackson Powers-Johnson, the center for Oregon last season, I think it's a very intriguing move. I will admit, if the Raiders ended up taking him at 44, like, they already signed Andre James. Like, this is going to be a guard move. And if it was up to me, if you end up going this route here, a guy who played 13 games last season for the Ducks, 90.6 PFF grade, you're probably going to put him at right guard and you keep Dylan Parham at left guard or vice versa. But this would be your starting offensive guard, not Cody Whitehair, not Jordan Meredith. This is what that pick would be. Yates on why he decided to go this route. The Raiders must continue to chip away along the offensive line, and Powers-Johnson has the flexibility to play at guard or center. He's a massive, powerful dude. Like, he is a massive, powerful dude, and he will fit Luke Getsy's offense well. He will fit that mindset that the Raiders want to have where, at the end of the game, after you play 60 minutes of football against the Silver and Black, they want to know that you felt it. And Powers-Johnson is definitely going to be one of those players that you could put up the middle. Like I said, you might be able to put him, I think he probably would play right guard because that's where he played before, and you just kick Dylan Parham back over to the left side. But, like, with this flexibility, with this versatility, the Raiders would have one of the better offensive lines in football. If you put Powers-Johnson on this line, take out Cody Whitehair, it's one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. So here's your opportunity again to grade the pick. Powers-Johnson at pick 44, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what y'all are thinking because I think of center. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, I think of center. Before the Raiders re-sign Andre James, this was a dude that we talked about time and time again of, could this be somebody that the Raiders go out and get at center? The reason why I am personally going to give this a B+ grade is because, like the player a lot, really, really good dude. I made a video before saying that the Raiders shouldn't draft him in round 1 because they shouldn't draft him at pick 13. But at pick 44, the value's there. If you told me that Powers-Johnson played guard this past season and you're able to get him at 44 based on what his tape shows, like, that's a good player. Like, he's a really good dude. But the fact that you're taking him to play a position that he did not play this past year does make me a little bit worried on a brand new offensive line like James Craig. However, Quinyon Mitchell, that's an A. Powers Johnson, that's a B+. So that means, here we go. Coming up, who the Raiders drafted at pick number 77. You went corner, you went interior offensive line, and I was wondering what they were going to do. The pick, I will admit, shocked me just a little bit. If you haven't already interacted with Chugs and I on social media, there's places that you can do it. Twitter, Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Chugs is at Jeremy Chugs on Twitter, at Jeremy_Chugs on IG. And I would recommend keeping up with us on Twitter for more of the new stuff. Instagram's probably just to get into what we're doing on our daily lives. Like Chugs and I, for those that do not know, we got a basketball game tonight. If you want to know how that went, give me a follow on IG. Give Chugs a follow on IG as well. Let's go to round 3, pick 77 in this ESPN mock draft by Mel Enfield Yates. Chugs loves this mock draft from top to bottom. And when we were kind of building this show out from the beginning, he's like, dude, this is a really solid draft. And it's not that I don't love this last pick. I just wish it would have been something a little bit different. I'll be honest. However, it does fit with our other players at this position. So round 377, the Raiders go running back Jaylen Wright from Tennessee. I like Jaylen Wright a lot. And I've said this before. Like, if you were to tell me which running back probably pairs the best with the two backs that this organization already has, the answer is Jaylen Wright. I mean, somebody that averaged 7.4 yards per carry, where to me, Zamir's thunder. Madison, thunder. You need a little bit of lightning, and Jaylen Wright can offer you that lightning. Here's why Mel Kiper decided to go this route. Finally, another running back off the board. The Raiders lost Josh Jacobs, which means there are opportunities for touches in 2024. Wright averaged 7.4 yards per carry in 2023, which ranked third in college football. According to those numbers, then again, like total touchdowns 4, I do think that he can catch the football better than what he was given the opportunity to. To me, that's probably a little bit more on scheme / Joe Milton overall. But if you're finding a back that's got that experience in the SEC, that just has speed that, quite frankly, like you really can't teach. And if you are looking for that just dynamic back in the backfield, because Zamir White's not going to be breaking any big runs. Alexander Madison, not going to be breaking any big runs. Yeah, Amir Abdullah has the athletic ability, but he's really just a third down back. And if your plan is at the end of the season to move on from Madison, which they absolutely are going to do, and then you have a new running back in Zamir White and Jaylen Wright, and that's kind of your duo for the next 2 seasons, like it is an opportunity to at least think about, okay, this is why the Raiders did it. However, though, the reason why that this is not going to get a great grade from me is because it's based on need. Like, when you go back and you look at that mock draft, there's a lot of other picks that I thought that the Raiders could potentially do. Good player, but taking it back at pick 77 when there were some other positions that I would have rather them targeted, that's kind of where I'm feeling this type of way. So my grade here for Jaylen Wright at pick 77 is a C grade. It is a average move to me because it's based on the overall need. Like, there were tackles that I would have rather the Raiders gone out and get. There were linebackers that I would have rather the Raiders gone out and get. And when I saw the pick here, I started to sweat a little bit. Oh, the pick? I thought my pits, they don't. My pits smell great. The pick doesn't stink, but it's like, I don't love it. You know what I mean? I don't love it. I do love Mando. I don't love the Jaylen Wright pick, though. So I gave it a C grade overall. Just thought that if it was up to me, we could have gone a little bit of a different direction, like Jaylen Wright in round 3 or Ray Davis in round 4. I'll take Ray Davis in round 4 over Jaylen Wright in round 3. So here one more time are the picks that ended up going down. You had Quinyon Mitchell, then Jackson Powers Johnson, then Jaylen Wright at running back. So you got your number 1 corner, you got a starting offensive guard, and then a back that's going to compete for touches. So overall, how would you rate this? Like for me, I rated it an 85 overall score. I thought it was a good draft from top to bottom. I really did. And it's a weighted one because this is the best one. Like this to me is a 95. This to me is probably like an 88. The Jaylen Wright move's probably a little bit closer to a 75. When I weighed them all out together, let's go up with the number with 85. But I want to know from you, scale it from 1 to 100, how would you rate this here mock draft? If you made it this far in the show, remember, we're going to continue to pump out more Raiders draft content. We go live every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And anytime breaking news happens, we go live. And we're going to be live for the NFL Draft. So if you enjoyed today's show, the next 10 days here leading up to the draft is going to be nothing, and I mean nothing but news, rumors, a lot of draft content. We're going to be doing our best here on the Raiders Report to keep you guys up to date and help us get to 168,000 subs. I would definitely appreciate it. All right, Chugs, what would you give it? Scale it. How would you guys scale this one? 1 to 100.
I'd give it a 95.
Okay.
And this is the reason why. I know people are like, oh, Jalen Wright, why that pick? I don't like Jalen Wright in the 3rd round. This is why I really like this mock draft for the Raiders, is because in my eyes, you're getting 3 guys who I think are going to be immediate starters for you in the National Football League. Not 50-50 guys. I think Quinyon Mitchell, consensus, everybody that talks around the NFL draft
thinks Jalen Wright would get more touches than Zamir White?
I think towards the end of the year, yes. I think so. I think he's a really good back. You look at his years in Tennessee, not a lot of tread on the tires. For the carries that he got, he was extremely productive, but he wasn't overused in college. And I think he could be a round 3, round 4 back where we look at like an Alvin Kamara. We look at guys who went in the 2nd round, these running backs who are really producing well, like I can't think of any running backs in the second round now.
There's a bunch of backs that go later.
I think you get Powers Johnson, who I think is one of my favorite interior offensive line guys in the entire draft, who can play guard and center, was awesome at Oregon, helps you open running lanes. You get Quinyon Mitchell, who solidifies the back end of your defense.
Sure. With
Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, and your 2 safeties. I think you're getting 3 guys who can start and produce for you day one. And the Achilles heel for the Raiders the past 5, 6, 7 years in the NFL draft is betting on guys with major upside who have a lot of risk. I don't think there's a ton of risk in these guys. Maybe Jalen Wright in the 3rd round, but then again, I still think he'll be a good running back barring injury. I think Powers Johnson, low risk move. He's a really good prospect, a really good guy. Same with Quinyon Mitchell. And I think if the Raiders could get away from maybe making some of these big risk guys, like taking big risks on players, and they've been on the bad end on a lot of them, of guys like a Cleveland Ferrell, like a Jonathan Abram, like Damon Arnett, guys like who could have been really good but didn't meet their potential whatsoever. I think these guys are low floor or high floor guys where at worst they're a good starter in the NFL, a decent starter in the NFL, where you can maybe take a chance on a guy who has a higher ceiling, who could be better. But I think all these guys contribute for you in year 1, and that's why I like this draft.
It's not that I don't like the draft. I gave it an 85. I disagree on the Jalen Wright topic, where I don't think that Jalen Wright gets more. To be honest, I think he's the running back that gets the 3rd most snaps.
It changes throughout the year. Last year around this time, you thought Zamir White wouldn't even be on the team anymore. You were like, he sucks.
I hear you, and I was wrong on it. But then he got more and more work and showed that they really like Zamir, and that's kind of where I don't know where Jalen Wright would fit necessarily.
I think the trend is, you give it to the hot hand. We'll see. And the worst case scenario with that is Zamir White turns into your workhorse back, and he's amazing.
Sure.
And, yes, at that point, you're like, oh, we took Jalen Wright in the 3rd, but at the end of the day, you still got a really good running back in Zamir White. I think Jalen Wright, at worst, is your RB2. I think he gets more snaps than Madison. I think at that point, Madison might not even make the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
With guys that they trust more in, maybe like Amir Abdullah, even though Screen God, we know how he's done so far with the Raiders this past couple of years. But that's just my opinion on it. I think you get guys who can be good starters.
Jackson Powers Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell, I think that those 2 guys are going to be in the NFL for 10 years. I really do. I think Quinyon's in the NFL, obviously barring injury, but both of those guys are in the NFL for 10 years. I'm so confident in Jackson Powers Johnson. I'll admit I would like him better at center. But if he's like, I'm open to playing guard, let's do it. Let's run it. Him next. I'm telling you, if it's
knowing offensive linemen, I don't think he's like, I'm not playing guard. I don't think so.
But maybe that's where he wants to play, because there is an opportunity to make money at center. There's an opportunity to make at every position, though guards did make a lot of money this past year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the biggest thing is between if offensive lineman is tackles moving to guard. I think guards to center, there's no really difference in I'd much rather play guard than center or center than guard. I think the market for both of those positions is really relative of how good you are in both of those. I think if you're the best center in the league, you're going to get paid like one of the top interior offensive linemen in the league. I think the discussion goes more on a tackle, and we've heard it from people before within the NFL, tackles who are like, I don't want to play guard because I think I can make more at tackle, which, I mean, is statistically correct.
It makes sense.
I think guard to center, there isn't that big of a difference in pay grade between the two, or seniority.
I got you. I got to give some shout-outs here to some people that are in our duck race. I just got some new ones from Javier Rod, Luis Avina, which means $20 Venmo right now. You'd get in for a chance to win $90 here on the Raiders Report. So
no shit.
We usually do 3 segments, but because we filmed a video earlier today on the Raiders signing Cody Whitehair, we only had 2 segments today slotted in, and because Chugs and I also have a basketball game, that's all the segments that we got on tap. So if you want to continue this live show,
420.
It is 420 right now.
Do we
answer more questions?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to get those questions, comments on the show. And then once we kind of run out of some of these questions, then we'll probably bounce on out of here. Again, we'll do a duck race. Winner of that is going to go get some money.
Hey, maybe Miles can come hoop with us.
Miles, can you hoop? If we do end up picking up Michael Penix Jr., I will love that. I'm just really worried about his injuries. How are you eyeing his injuries, and how do you feel about them? I will admit that the injuries did scare me a lot more. They don't really concern me now because if you pass the medical checks from the combine, and like those medical checkups are very, very thorough. If teams aren't worried about it, then I'm not going to be really worried about it. Also, the past 2 seasons, he has been healthy, right? Like, I will admit, I do think people are a little bit scared because he got he got whooped against Michigan. They beat him up. But from an injury standpoint, in all honesty, I'd say that there is probably a higher probability that Jayden Daniels gets hurt than Michael Penix Jr.
And I do have to say,
because Jayden doesn't protect his body.
As we're advancing and getting more, and like within sports and with everything, more technology, more information, more advancements within technology and medicine.
Yeah,
I think a lot of these guys where before, you talk about the references in baseball all the time. Before with Tommy John surgery or something like that, like that was a career ender for a lot of guys. Where now it's like you're seeing guys who are able to pitch into their mid-30s and bounce back from those kind of injuries.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers popped his Achilles and thought that he might be able to come back in the same season. Like, I get it. It's quarterback's a little bit different, but that's insane. I mean, we're getting to that level.
So I mean, like, I feel like injuries, the way we talk about it now compared to like maybe even 10, 15 years ago, is quite the difference.
Let's go to the real Raider Bat Dad. Fuaga over corner because you win and lose the game in the trenches. Sure. Again, I'm not going to argue.
But if you're telling me I could get Quinyon Mitchell and then Jackson Powers Johnson, or would you rather go Fuaga and maybe like Ennis Rakestraw? Which one of those 2 would you pick?
I think the problem, the hardest question to answer right now, like the player that I think impacts the draft the most is honestly Thayer Munford. How confident are you in Thayer Munford? If you're not confident in Munford, then you're going to probably take an offensive tackle. If the Raiders are legitimately confident in Munford's ability to play tackle, they're going to go corner.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it's very telling, and it's a question that only the Raiders know.
It's like at that point, pick 13, when their pick goes in, they're putting their cards on the table of whether or not they trust.
And I mean, Telesco already said, like, I talked to Thayer, and Thayer's like, oh, I'm playing offensive tackle this year. Telesco said that he could play offensive guard or tackle. So, like, that's already Telesco, in my eyes, telling me that they're not 100% confident at tackle. But, like, am I more confident in Thayer Munford or Brandon Faison or Jacorian Brennan? I'm more confident in Thayer. I just think it's got to come down to who they legitimately have ranked higher on their board, and I don't know who they have ranked higher. I'll also say that if you were to ask me which player do I think is more likely to bust, Fuaga, Quinyon Mitchell, or Terrion Arnold, I think all 3 of those players legitimately are safe players.
Yeah.
Like, safe players. Let's go to Bill Holloway. Washington drafts Jayden Daniels, but they'll trade him to us for future picks because he doesn't want to play for them what role you think. I don't really understand the what role you think. If you're asking me how much that's going to cost, I mean, it's going to be a boatload of picks. But to me, like, I don't see this happening because if you're the Commanders and you have a meeting with Jayden Daniels today and you have a meeting with Jayden Daniels tomorrow, and if you don't come out of that meeting with just 100% confidence, like, the first question I'm asking Jayden is, if we draft you, are you happy? Like, if Jayden says no or thinks about it, or he's like, I don't want to be Peters, like, he's not going to go there. You got to be able to come out of their meetings, out of these next 2 days. If you are 100% confident in Jayden and that he's going to play for you, you draft him at 2. Like, this scenario is not going to happen. It's not. And I want Jayden to be a Raider. I really, really do. I would love if Jayden's like, nah, F that. I ain't going to the Commanders. Like, I'm going to go to the Raiders. And, like, that's, like, he tries to do that. It's just, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What's up, Big Luck? Jack, Dan, I see you.
I saw a super chat, but it's not letting me pull it now for some reason. From Zach Nassie, he said, hey, Mitch, just wanted to say thanks again for coming to meet me this past weekend. Chugs, missed you, buddy. Hopefully next time we can all chug a beer.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday's show, Zach? I don't remember, but he was like, hey, I'm going to be in Dallas. Like, you know, you want to link up. And we ended up going to Terry Black's on Sunday. Though I'll admit, I was not hungry.
What a move.
They were chowing down on some food. I ended up getting a few drinks, and then we went to
Wait, you didn't eat anything?
I'm not going to lie. I ate so much food the night before. I'm, like, unproud to say how much food I ate at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I know. Legitimately, that's how unhungry I was when I went to Terry Black's. And then we ended up
going. That's like
going,
being like, oh, I went to Disney World. Did you ride any rides? No.
Nah. No, I know. And then we ended up going to a brewery. But then after the brewery, I ended up stopping at Dallas Crab Station, and I got a bag to go for Alex and I. And that was a pretty electric dinner. I'm not going to lie. It was a good move. It was a good move. Though, Alex, she likes seafood. I just think we like seafood differently. Like, I like butter. I like slop. Like, I want it to be sloppy when I eat. The bib, the gloves was not quite her thing.
Really?
It was a little different. I think she wanted crawfish. Like, I like shrimp and crab more than crawfish.
Crawfish isn't. Crawfish is the same thing. You're getting down and dirty.
Oh, I know, but the bags were different. So, like, the way that you ordered them. Like, I ordered more crab and shrimp, where she's like, oh, we should have got crawfish. But that means I would have had to pay a lot more, and didn't really feel like it. Crab ragoon is great. Instigator, I hear you.
Is it fair to say that you like crawfish and catfish, and Alex would like salmon and lobster tail or something?
Alex is a big Sam.
Southern
Nobody likes catfish, though. Catfish is overrated.
Chris, you good? Or
If I'm gonna pick between fish, catfish is very, very low.
If you have good homemade catfish, fire.
But good homemade catfish is never better than, like, I'm taking.
I'll take my great uncle Arliss and Aunt Liva's catfish.
I think Chris Turner is throwing tomatoes at you.
Who?
Now I get it.
Oh, we can block him.
Here we go.
See ya.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey.
Chris is a loser. All right, final chance to get in our duck race here. 50-50 raffle, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365.
I heard Chris pees with his legs crossed.
I mean, I think honestly what's sad is I don't even think it's Chris. I think it's actually him. Like, I think he's just got that much free time where he just creates burners and comes over here.
He's not making good content, so he has a lot of
got some free time, man.
A lot of free time to be doing other things.
All right, let me see here. Luis Avina, you in, and then I got Raider Josh is in. We got Abel in, and then Brooks Nelson also in. So we got 12 people in right now. Chance to win $120. I also want to say major shout out to all of y'all that tuned into our show Friday. We had a lot of fun on the show. I think we're going to be able to do like more live shows with some guests here. It's not always going to be the drinking and the shenanigans that we had go down. But Graf at one point on Friday's show, he was like, man, I thought I was going to be a lot worse. When Graf left, he was hurting. He was, and he'd tell you that. Did you see his tweet the next day? I mean, I knew Graf was going to be hurting.
It was a little rough.
I was hurting.
A little rough.
I was hurting the next day.
All right, last chance to get in.
Big luck. Friday was lit. Luis Rod looks like he's getting in again. You in. Luis Rod in. And then Mark H. That's a new one. You in. So right now, $20 Venmo. Chance to win $140 here on the Raiders Report. Tomorrow, Chugs and I are going to be live again, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. What time does the WNBA draft start tonight?
I don't know. Mrs. Barefoot? Mrs. Foot? For people who want to join you tonight, what time will you be starting?
6 Central?
Yeah, I know. Gosh, we have so much electricity next to us, so much chemistry. Starting at 6 p.m. Central for the WNBA draft. So 7 p.m. Eastern.
Chat Sports.
Chat Sports, the main channel. We've
Yep.
already got it up. The stream is up. Time in the Buckeyes in there, so we're ready to go.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Here,
Ready
let
to
me,
go.
let me get the link.
Allie made me blush.
Stop.
What are you going to do if Caitlin Clark doesn't go first?
Beating the shit out of Smitty.
Well, I'll tune in just for that.
I was going to say, I'm kind of hoping
Can
she
we-
doesn't go now. There's the link for all of y'all. If you want to go tune into our live WNBA coverage tonight, it's Allie. She's going to be hosting it. It's also the first time we've ever done it. So, in all honesty, if you guys could go show out some love and support, that would be that'd be pretty dope. So, all right, Chugs, I'm going to send you here the names that are in this raffle, which now we're starting to get more and more. Aaron Winnick is
Also,
in.
go get Allie drunk tonight. Go send her a bunch of super chats.
Jose Corona, you in. Eric Johnson is also in. And then I think I got Luis again. All right, Chugs, here we go. I'm going to send you this list. If you guys want to let me know how many points you think I'm going to score tonight, like I said, I'm hoping to get 15 minutes. I'm hoping to get 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. He made another account.
Another one. Yeah, I mean, this person's just got too much free time. It's kind of weird.
Dude, do you,
It's kind. I mean,
I don't know, man.
you got-
Sad.
You got that much free time.
Are you okay, buddy?
I wish people would spend their time more showing love instead of being trolls. We'd be a lot further in life.
Yeah.
You'd be a lot further in life, to be honest.
Well, I
but
mean, if you're in your mom's basement, you don't have a lot of other options than to just hate on everyone else.
I know, but there's never been a successful person in the world that creates fake YouTube accounts to troll. Like, nobody that is doing well in their life does that. You can't tell me otherwise.
So you're telling me they could focus on what they're doing
Yep.
and get further ahead than just shitting on other people?
It's kind of wild, man.
I actually don't believe you.
Kind of wild. All right, I sent all the names to Chugs. We got no more, which means somebody's going to win $170 here on the Raiders Report. It's going to be fun, man. What's up, Nico? What's up, Robert? Everybody say goodnight to David's on. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Yeah. The thing is, Texans versus Mexicans. He wasn't being cool, so
Yep, I agree.
sorry. Go hit him up on Troll Discord.
Don't know. Don't know. All right, we got 17 people in this race. Winner gets $170. Good night, Mr. David Zahn. Good night, Mr. David Zahn. You ready? 3, 2, 1, run it. Who's going to be able to hop in their sack the quickest? Who's got a quick sack in them? Right now, it looks like James Guevara is out to an early lead here. Mark H., I'm going to say, is in second place. Right now, it's Guevara. Eric Johnson's in an interesting spot. Javier Rodriguez, Aaron Winnick, Brooks Nelson, low-key, is in a very good spot as well. Abel? Where's Abel? Abel's right there. Ultra VAB starting to fall back here a little bit. 26 seconds to go. Winner gets $170 here on the Raiders Report. Ultra VAB, Luis Avina. These two right now are the ones battling it out. VAB's got this by just a hair. This is usually where we see somebody turn it on.
Navman!
Navman's starting to turn it on here. Javier Rodriguez.
Who's it going to be?
From the back row, Javier. Javier Rodriguez with the dub. Dude, I'll tell you what, it's a good race.
Funny enough, that's exactly what Javier Rodriguez looks like.
Who gets the butthole pick?
That would be Luis Rod.
Luis Rod, the big winner. All right, who won it again? Javier Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. Ultra VAB and 93 Navman in third.
How many races has Javier gotten in? This is crazy. First race. Javier Rodriguez's first race, and he's going home with $170. Dope. Javier, can you please confirm with me down below that you just received $170 here on the Raiders Report? I'm punchy. Every time, fixed. Every single time. Love it. Congratulations to Javier. What's going on? A lot of clicking.
Yeah, the comments aren't working.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Dustin Schmidt said, we need to draft Michael Penix Jr. so I can tell Donkey fans here in Denver that we beat them over the head with our... You can fill in the blank. You can fill in the blank. You know what, though? For that reason alone, the big Penix energy would definitely be a thing in Las Vegas, man. Would definitely be Javier Rodriguez. I think that's what the 100s are. Got it. Love it. Navman said, geez, I suck at this game. I mean, there are people, Navman, that have entered many races that have never won. Ask Scheffler. Scheffler's, he's been riding the struggle bus for that one. Okay, guys, Chugs and I, we got to get out of here. We got a basketball game tonight. We'll let you know how it goes tomorrow here on the show. We are going to be live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, if any other breaking news happens, we'll keep you guys up to date.
Let us know, W or L, will we win or lose tonight?
We better get it done.
Let me know, W or L down in the comment section. Will we win or will we lose?
Thank you for the good luck wishes. I'll keep you guys up to date tomorrow here on the Raiders Report. And if you don't already know, live NFL draft coverage. A lot of draft stuff coming up here the next 10 days. Make sure you subscribe. We got some giveaways. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff going down. Jansen says we're going to win 47-39. If we win 47-39, Jansen, we do a boot tomorrow here on the Raiders Report. Enjoy your Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m.
46-39. Mitch misses a free throw on purpose.
It's like the Jackie Moon thing where Sperry Vakitis goes up for a layup and you just swats it away. No way. All right, we got to get out of here. Peace.